Greetings and welcome back to the Pink Couch Conversations, where family planning meets financial planning, and we explore the female wealth cycle one conversation at a time. I'm your host, Rashonda LeGrand, and I'm an entrepreneur, educator, mother, student of biocultural anthropology, and founder of Pretty and Profitable. And today, I want to take you on a journey through the last 100 years of women's financial history. Because before we can understand where we're going, it says we have to understand where we've been. 100 years ago, women couldn't vote. They couldn't open a bank account. They couldn't even apply for a credit card. They couldn't build wealth independently. But today, women oversee trillions of dollars in assets around the world. And that's not just our economic history, right? That's a stewardship story. So grab your favorite cup of coffee, tea, or beverage, and let's sit down together on the pink couch. Today, we're going to transition from permission to participation through the 1920s through the 1970s. And when we think about wealth, people often think about it, from an investing component. But before women could invest, they had to gain access. So in 1920, women gained the right to vote. That was an important milestone. But many women still couldn't independently own property. They couldn't establish credit or make major financial decisions without having a husband. It wasn't until the Equal Pay Act of 1963 and the Equal Credit Opportunity Act of 1974 that women began to receive legal access to financial tools many people take for granted today. Think about that. That's like in a lot of our mamas' ages, our grandmothers, for much of modern history. Women weren't poor because they lacked ambition. Many simply lacked access. So let's reflect on that for a minute. Sometimes what feels like personal struggle is actually a part of a much larger historical bloodline story, feminine bloodline story. But this is where education changed everything from the 1980s through the 1990s as more women entered colleges, medical schools, law schools, and corporate leadership. Something powerful happened. Knowledge became wealth. Education expanded earning opportunities and professional careers became more accessible. Women weren't just earning paychecks, they were building expertise. Human capital became one of the greatest assets that women possessed. And it reminds us that one of the most valuable investments that we can make ever in our lives is in ourselves, because that investment allows us to establish a new goal, which is ownership. Because in the 2000s to the 2010s, the conversation began to shift, and that conversation was no longer just about earning income. Women began asking bigger questions like, how do I buy a house? How do I learn how to invest? How do I own a business? How do I prepare for when I retire? More women became entrepreneurs, investors, executives, and wealth builders during this time period. Ownership became the bridge between income and legacy. That legacy became the great wealth transfer that we're seeing right now in the 2020s. Today, we're living through one of the greatest financial transitions in modern history because women are expected to inherit trillions of dollars through family wealth, business succession, investments, and real estate for the first time in history. The question isn't simply, can women build wealth? The question is, what legacy will we leave? That's why stewardship matters now more than ever. So part of the pink couch perspective, and one thing that I hope that you remember from today's conversation is this. History gives us context. Stewardship gives us direction. Our grandmothers fought for this access. Many of our mothers fought for this opportunity. Now it's our responsibility to build on these assets, to protect them, and to prepare the next generation. And that's why Pretty and Profitable isn't just about making more money. It's about becoming a wise steward of everything we've been entrusted with. Because legacy doesn't begin when we die. Legacy begins with the decisions that we make today. I want to thank you for joining me for another Pink Couch conversation. And if today's episode encouraged you, I'd love for you to download the companion reflection worksheet and spend a few minutes thinking about your own financial legacy and ask yourself, where am I in my own wealth story? And if you like a personalized roadmap, I love to invite you to schedule a pretty and profitable wealth cycle reset session. And together we'll align your goals, identify your current season, and begin building a stewardship plan that reflects the life that you're creating. Until next time, remember, awareness creates wisdom. Wisdom shapes our decisions, and our decisions become our legacy. Stay pretty, stay powerful, stay profitable.